On this episode of the Getting Rooted podcast, are you the strong one? The one people call when something goes wrong? The one who figures things out? The one everyone depends on? But nobody really checks on.
Let's get rooted with Getting Rooted podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Getting Rooted. I'm Janine, therapist and mental wellness coach, and I help women who feel overwhelmed reset their lives without burning everything down by staying rooted internally and making small, sustainable changes. I want to talk about that today, being the strong one, because a lot of women end up in that role without even realizing it. Being the strong one sounds like a good thing, right? But people rely on it, they expect it. But what doesn't get talked about is what it costs you to stay in that role. When you're the strong one, you don't just show up. You anticipate, you manage, you adjust. You're remembering things for everybody. You're mentally tracking schedules, appointments, responsibilities, emotional dynamics, things that haven't even happened yet. And after a while, you become so used to carrying things internally that you don't even realize how tense your body is anymore. Your mind never really fully powers down. And even during rest, you're still thinking, no matter, it doesn't make any sense, but you are still working while you're resting. And so you're tired when you get up, right? You're thinking ahead for everyone else, even when no one is thinking ahead for you. And I know this personally. There have been seasons where I was just carrying a lot, being a daughter, being an associate pastor, being a therapist, being a mom, being the administrator of a church and multiple churches in other countries. And not on top of that, taking care of my dad, trying to figure things out while everything was shifting and still being the one people leaned on. Now, I didn't really question it at the time. It was just what I did. Something came up, I handled it. Someone needed something, I showed up. And from the outside, it really probably looked like I had it together because that's the strange thing about being the strong one. People usually see your functioning, not your exhaustion. They see you getting things done, showing up, solving problems, handling responsibilities, but they don't always see like the mental load underneath all of that. And honestly, sometimes you don't notice it either. You just keep moving because there's always like another thing that needs attention. Now, something that I had to think about is that I was always tired. Not in a dramatic way, but just consistently tired. And what I didn't realize right away was how little space I really had for myself. Even when I had a moment, my mind was still on everything else. And what needed to be handled was what was next. Who needed something? It was what was next. And I think that's the part people don't always see. It's not just what you're doing, it's what stays on your mind the whole time. Even right now, I'm trying to, record this podcast. It's like, okay, what do I have to do after this? And it's really hard to stay present and in the moment when your brain is so full of things that you have to do, right? You're the one that is orchestrating it all. And so after a while, that catches up with you. Being the strong one isn't just about doing more, it's about carrying more without always having a place to put it down. So imagine yourself carrying a whole lot of bags, right? You're carrying, say, through the airport, because that's where we carry the most baggage, right? And we're carrying through the airport and there's nowhere to put it down. You have to carry it and you have to hold on to it until your plane gets there. And even when your plane gets there, you board the plane and you still have to hold your bags because there's no space to put it down. Just imagine that. And that's what the strong ones in your life, the strong women in your life have to do, have to deal with. So just think about that. Now, I want to slow this down for a second because this is where a lot of women get stuck. Because when you've been the strong one for a long time, your nervous system gets used to it. I can testify. Oh, Lord. You get used to it, being the one who handles things, being the one who stays steady, being the one who doesn't need anything, quote unquote, right? And over time, you start even checking in with yourself. And this can show up in ways people don't expect, like feeling guilty when you rest, struggling to ask for help, feeling irritated but not understanding why, shutting down emotionally, or feeling like you have to keep proving you can handle everything. Sometimes it even looks like resentment. hmm Because when you constantly pour out without support, eventually something in you starts feeling depleted. And a lot of times we don't realize this. And that resentment, like I talked about a few minutes ago, it builds up, it settles in you. And then you start to, well, I don't understand why I have to do everything. But who asked you to do everything? Did you take that role on without it being assigned to you? And a lot of times the answer is yes, you took it on because maybe you didn't see everyone else doing anything. So you wanted to make sure things got done the right way. Or you took it on because that's your personality to be a fixer. Right. And so a lot of times we add more to our plate than necessary. And then we're upset about it and we're raging and we're dealing with all these emotional consequences for it. And so now, even when you need support, it doesn't come naturally to ask for it. Because you're used to not having to ask for help. What does it mean? What does it say about you if you have to ask for help? And I had to ask myself that. Does it say that I'm weak? Does it say that I'm incapable? Does it say that, you know, it I'm bad at what I'm doing because I need help? What is the belief system that is showing up if I had to ask for help? Right? Because God forbid, they all know me as the one to do everything. And if I step down from that road, then what do I have? Who am I? Some questions to ask yourself. So let me ask you something. All right. I've already asked you a couple of questions. Let me ask you something else. When something is heavy for you, what do you usually do? Do you talk about it or do you push through it? Let me ask you this. When you're overwhelmed, do you slow down or do you try to handle more? What about when someone asks if you're okay? Do you actually answer that honestly? Do you? Because here's the pattern. You've learned how to carry things so well that people don't always see when it's heavy because you do a good job at masking it on the outside. And if you're honest, sometimes you don't show them what's going on the inside. So it's not that people don't care. A lot of the time, they think you don't need anything because you set it up that way. I know that hurts. You set up the dynamic. And when I tell clients that in session, they're like, oh, like, so people are used to you doing what you do. It may look different, it may feel uncomfortable. So a lot of people they don't ask for help. And the people around them don't realize that they need help because they have perfected faking it and pretending that everything is okay when it's not. Yeah. And so that's a different problem. Strength was never supposed to look like isolation. You can be strong and still need support. And honestly, this is hard for a lot of women, especially women who are used to being dependable. Now, I know we always talk about the independent woman, but what about the woman that is the dependable woman, right? The women who had to grow up quickly or learn early that other people relied on them. Support can feel unfamiliar, even when you desperately need it. So, that doesn't mean you change everything overnight, right? Like, my whole thing is not, you don't have to make big changes overnight. You just have to make small ones. Because making a change overnight can shock the nervous system as well as the people around you. But it might look like letting someone help you without correcting how they do it. You know, those that like to be in control, you gotta let them do it, even if it's wrong or not how you would have done it. And I'm only talking from experience, guys. Right? Not jumping in to fix everything immediately, even if you're craving and you're like, oh my God, I can fix that and be over. Yeah, but at what cost? Right? Or maybe even saying something simple like, I actually need help with this. Can you say that? Can you practice saying that? I actually need help with this. And notice what you feel. Notice what comes up for you. Is that uncomfortable? Are you squirming? Or did it allow you to have a breath? Did it allow you to just release? Because if that feels uncomfortable, that's normal. Because you've been doing the opposite for a long time. So, because at some point, being the strong one without support turns into exhaustion. And you don't have to wait until you're completely drained to start doing this differently. Because exhaustion usually doesn't happen all at once, right? It builds slowly, it stacks through chronic stress, through emotional overload, through constant responsibility, and never fully getting a chance to recover, right? Think about if you had a injury to your ankle and you had surgery or you had, you're on crutches, but you continue to try to walk on that foot when it has not fully healed. You try to walk on that foot when the doctor hasn't given you full clearance and you're wondering why it's not working or why is it hurting or why is it not healing quickly, because you have not given it enough time to fully recover. What does your recovery plan look like daily? What do you do for yourself? Not weekly, not monthly, daily. What is your daily routine to help you recover from all the things that you're juggling, all the things that you're navigating? Because eventually your mind and body start asking for something different. It starts screaming at you, either through illness, through mental health issues, so anxiety, depression. Like your body and your mind begins to scream at you because it needs something different. You ever had a thirst, like all of a sudden, like you're really, really thirsty, and the only thing that's going to quench it is water, right? Like you try juice, you try this, you try that, but you're still thirsty and you need water. That's the same thing. Your body's like, okay, well, that's nice that you took a break and sat down and watched TV. But what are you doing to really recover and reset yourself? What is the long-term plan that you're instituting in order to navigate this? And so I want you to be mindful of that. I want you to be mindful of the role that you're showing up as in your family dynamics, in your home, in your community, because a lot of times you, we, include myself because I'm in recovery from these things, but we put ourselves in predicaments to show up and be something that we don't need to be, right? Someone that we don't have to be. Did that make sense? And understanding that is important. It's not that people don't want to help you. It's not that people don't see you struggling. Is how much of a mask have you been putting on? What has been the belief system or the norm that you've created through your actions? I had to look at that in myself. Like, what am I doing? Why does people not call me? Why do they not think that I'm okay, that I'm not okay? And then I'm like, have I, through therapy and self of reflection, I'm like, do I let people in? Do I allow people to see that part of me? And I had to admit that no, I don't allow people to see that part of me. And then I had to explore, why don't I let people see that part of me? What is it about that part that I'm afraid of people seeing, that part of vulnerability, letting those people in? And so through exploration and letting things down and setting boundaries, I was able to no longer have to fully perform in the strong woman or the strong one role. And so I invite you to do some soul searching for yourself and noticing, what are you doing to maintain this role if you want to give it up. So this week, I want you just to start noticing, where are you showing up for everyone else? And where might you need support too? And if you're realizing you've been carrying a lot for a long time and you don't even know where to start here. It's a 5-minute overwhelm reset, nothing complicated. It just helps you slow things down and get grounded in the moment. You can grab it in the link below. So, as I always tell you, make sure to stay rooted in your truth and take care of your mind. And I'll see you in the next episode.